Well, what-o chaps and chapettes, Bertie here, and we are here to discuss with you what might be happening for Minecraft in 2015. Now, no doubt this is a huge question for all of you supporters of Minecraft out there, and I know there's loads and loads and loads of you out there like us who like the game, love the game, and it's all absolutely wonderful, but what's going to be happening in 2015? And on that subject, I'd just like to quickly flip in there a Happy New Year to all of you out there who've been watching us and supporting us. Absolutely wonderful. Now, back to the business. What might be going on? Well, I think firstly we need to look just briefly at what happened in 14, and of course the biggest thing that happened in 14 was of course that Microsoft bought the whole show for $2.5 billion. Yes, that's no small amount. $2.5 billion must be one of the biggest gaming deals in the history of the whole universe, I think. But nevertheless, no doubt any company like Microsoft that is investing that sort of money wants to make sure that they get a return on their investment. No doubt about that at all, especially a company like Microsoft, which clearly has a head for money, etc., in business. So the thing is, how does that sort of link in, and how can they get their money back, etc., so forth? Well, if we look at just sales, just looking at standard sales, it were, of the game, and if we look at some of the statistics on the Mojang site, for example, and it's difficult to get the whole picture, but just sort of going on daily sales figures, it would take something like, with rough calculations, 25 years to recoup that money on those type of sales. Now, I know, of course, we've got the Pocket Edition sales, we've got all the Xbox sales, and goodness knows what else there is out there as well. So this is very, very rough, and I appreciate that. But whichever way you look at it, it's going to take years and years and years and years and years to get that money back. And of course, that doesn't put into the equation that the popularity of the game may go down, so therefore less sales, etc., so forth. So whatever you say, that's not going to do the job, and I don't think that would have been a wise move to make business-wise. So what instead might they be doing? Well, this brings us to the subject of spin-offs, as it were, things that they could do, like involved with Minecraft, that involve perhaps the Minecraft license, but it isn't directly on the game. And no doubt Microsoft will want to milk the thing for as much as they can get in the long term. Obviously, it's business. So at the end of the day, what are they doing? Well, one interesting thing that we have got coming out, and this is for sure, is of course this story mode Minecraft game. Now, this is being made by Telltale Games, and they are very much into more violent games, which is rather interesting, considering that although I suppose zombies are bad, Minecraft's not very violent, as it were, but certainly they're into that sort of thing, and apparently this is going to be based on an episodic story format, which is very, very interesting, because we haven't seen anything like this in Minecraft before. And I think, as we said before, it will not be something that you add onto your original game. In other words, you don't have to have it into the game, as it were, you're playing. It'll be separate to that, an entirely separate game. So a bit like a spin-off, if you are, as something running alongside the main game, of course, and this is a way to make profits, no doubt about it. Now, how popular the game will be, we don't know. Now, in terms of what we're talking about, the fans, it's just another Minecraft thing, but of course, from Microsoft's point of view, and no doubt others' point of view, it will be a point of view of profit, no doubt, and of course using the Minecraft name, etc., so forth. So how this actually will turn out, what it will be like, we're not sure at the moment. We do know it will be story format. We do know that it will be similar to perhaps the way Walking Dead is set up and how that works with its episodic sort of way it runs and format, etc. But it should be very interesting. So that's one thing that we should be seeing in the coming year or around about that sort of time. So that's one thing that's going to be going on. Now, what else do we have out there? Well, Minecraft movie is something else. So Minecraft movie, yes indeed, as we spoke about some months ago, apparently Mr. Roy Lee of the Lego Movie was looking at this some time ago. And they were looking at having, we're going to make a Minecraft movie, etc., and everyone got rather excited, and why not? But apparently, recently, since we're speaking of the Minecraft movie, one of the directors there, a chap named Sean Levy, just apparently left the project recently because he was at conflict with Mojang on how things were going. In other words, Mojang didn't really like it very much, how it was going, and it didn't fit in with their idea, apparently, of how the movie should feel, and they felt that wasn't the way they wanted it to go, and Mr. Levy obviously thought that he couldn't work with that. Now, that's fair enough, of course, but, you know, Mojang or whoever they are, Microsoft now, if you like, the Minecraft lads, they program and they make games, but Mr. Levy is a director and he makes films, so perhaps he knows something they should have listened to, but who knows, maybe they felt, well, you know, we wanted to have the feel of the game, but then there's games and movies and you have to have a different flavour for each one. But there was some imbalance there and some problematic, you know, clashes there, so that was the end of it. He's walked out, and no doubt that will delay the game. So if you thought you'd be seeing it, you know, for March the 1st, it's probably not going to be the case now, because there's a bit of a slowdown there. But it seems to me, from what we can see, that the movie still is there on the table, as it were, and is going to be happening. So whether we'll see that this year, I don't know how long it'll take to make a movie like that. We don't know. We don't know the sort of format they're using, real people, cartoons or whatever. We'll have to wait and see. But that there is definitely on the table. It's something we will be seeing shortly, no doubt. Perhaps 2015, perhaps not. But nevertheless, there you are. Now, Minecon is something that a lot of people like to go to, and is rather fun, and there's been some very good Minecons, etc., and so forth. But is there one for 2015? Well, yes, there is one for 2015, and it has already been announced with a tentative date and location of spring in London. Yes, good old London. Wonderful. Ding dong, Big Ben, etc. Nice to have it on home turf. But of course, whether it will be like we've seen before, with the same format and how it's been run, flavour, feel, etc., well, we'll have to wait and see. We don't know, because now Microsoft will no doubt want to have an involvement in it. And yes, it does seem rather tiresome. We keep saying Microsoft all the time, but they own the bally thing now, so we'll just have to accept it, I suppose. £2.5 billion or dollars, I suppose, and they can do what they like and say what they like. But will it be the same? Well, we don't know. We'll have to wait and see whether it will be the same format, whether there'll be more perhaps a sales orient. I mean, the whole thing's sales, obviously, but perhaps more of a sales push in the whole thing, whether they'll try to incorporate that subtly in, whether they will try to add into it things that they have to do, etc., or upcoming plans they've got, we don't know. So the flavour we'll have to wait and see, but it is announced. So if you like Minecon, and you also fancy a flight over to London if you're from America, or just a trip on the train if you're here from Great Britain, then it's going to be on in 15, apparently, so it's rather fun. Now, there wasn't one in 2014, just out of interest to say this, but of course we know why, and that we do now, because no doubt, you know, the whole Microsoft thing was in the pipeline, so it wasn't going to be appropriate, so that's why they didn't do it, no doubt. Now, the thing is, so that's a few things that are exciting, that are out there, that are on the table, that Minecraft fans will be interested in, no doubt, because we are, and there we are, they're there, and it could well be 2015, certainly a couple of those definitely will be. Now, the thing is, what about what you're all saying out there? Well, that's fun, Bertie, and it's rather good, and I'm listening to this as I eat my cucumber and cheese sandwich, and it's wonderful, but what about the big things that we all want? The new mobs, the new game features, the new biomes, the new, well, whatever else you want to add to it that's fun, that makes Minecraft what you think Minecraft should be. Where are they? Rubbing chin and looking very vehemently at the camera. Well, the thing is, you see, we do know that one of the big things being worked on, or at least thought about, is a friends list in the game. Now, this is something that has been mentioned several times and may well, as I say, be in the pipeline, especially in the light of Mr. Phil Spencer's references to cross-platform compatibility, etc. No doubt something that Microsoft will be interested in, so that may still be coming in. Friends lists in games. Rather interesting, fun idea, and no doubt something that, as I said to you there, Microsoft will be interested in, so we could well see that in the game. So there's a little sort of sweetener in there for you. Now, the thing is, here's something else. A long time ago, Mr. John Kagstrom, what on earth happened to him? I mean, he did the Iron Golem, didn't he? He was rather good. Why did they get rid of him? I mean, why didn't they bring Mr. Kagstrom back? Mr. Kagstrom, are you out there? Oh, hi, mate. He said he might be. I don't know. But why did they get him? We don't know. But never mind. He was the author of the Iron Golem, as I said, and the Ocelot, as well as the new Mob AI. Now, Mr. Kagstrom said he wanted to add birds, fish, and tree animals into the game. And also, he wanted to add the whole idea that stealing would displease villagers. Now, I quite like that idea. That's quite a good idea. So you can imagine, pinch something of a villager and he gets jolly upset. He could hit you or something like that, I don't know. But birds, fish, and tree animals was a jolly good idea. Tree animals, yes, good. I think that's good. What do you think about that? Birds, well, we've got bats, I suppose. We've got bats, but not really birds. So birds could be a jolly good idea, I think. Going around, you could perhaps, maybe you could feed them seeds, or maybe they could drop things. I don't know what they could drop, but they could drop something. And they're fish. And fish, of course, as well. Now, of course, we've had these little pufferfish things and things like that, and we've got new monster fish that Mr. Jebb's put in the temple, which is rather the underground water temple thing, which is rather spiffing. But actual fish of different varieties, perhaps that you could catch on the old hook there with the fishing rod, as well as perhaps cook, etc., is also an interesting idea, as well as the whole idea of larger fish, like maybe perhaps sharks and things like that. You know, great big sharks and whales just blobbing through the water. Then all of a sudden, as you're just going on, you just go bang and just smash into one. Half your heart's going, you don't care, as you swim to the beach as fast as you can, and then suddenly just get whacked by a shark and you're just knocked out. Well, I'm sorry, I just got carried away there, but I just couldn't help it. You can imagine it going on. So shark and fish, yes. Sharks and whales, there's a different idea of fish. I know they're mammals, but who cares anyway? It's just fun. But yes, it's rather good. So there's an idea of things that he had. Now, perhaps they could be implemented into the game. What do you think? I think it would be a good idea to add those. Additionally, I think something else that would be rather fun is perhaps bears. Now, I don't know why I said that, but bears in caves. Well, that's okay, isn't it? Bears in caves. Caves in the side with little bears in there, all big bears that could come and get you or whatever. Just a silly idea. And of course, the hostiles. We've got, as you know, we had the creepers and the zombies and the skeletons, all the rest of it, and the Endermen for quite some time. But have we seen a hostile mob, land mob recently? Mr. Jebb put those in the underwater temple thing, which are the bad fishy ones. But land ones, perhaps we've got room for a major player in the land mobs recently. I know we had the silverfish, but something in there perhaps that he's large, walks on two legs or whatever before, if you like, that was really good, that could add some spice to the game. And of course also oars. Well, a lot of people say, oh, oars are boring. Well, they're not boring because you bloody well need oars to go through the game. You know, oars, you don't have any iron or gold or diamonds. But is there another oar they could add that you think something good could be done with? Well, I think possibly there is room for that in the game. Something where perhaps it could be mined at a different level. Perhaps you could find it up high, this one, instead of under the ground. Who knows? But it could be, there's a good point, perhaps that something could be done in that area. Now, what do you think ideas that you'd like to add? And of course, let's not forget the bally red dragon. Mr. Notch, he's gone now, see? He's over there in that huge house there, just doing it. He had an idea of red dragons. And I think it was a good idea. Of course, it never came to pass because of everything going on. But could they bring that back? We don't know. I think it's a good idea, and I think it's something that the community are going to want to see in the game, because it's all very well having these things we've spoken about come in and different changes and friendlies, etc. But ultimately, I think the community is going to be crying out for new items, items, hostiles, mobs, whatever you like, additions, even biomes. We said earlier, could we have another biome in there? Well, why not? We could have one in there, couldn't we? Different biome could be, I'm trying to think now, I don't know, a summer biome, you've got jungles and everything else, but it could be in there to add to the game. Now, Mr. Jebb also said, perhaps semi-jokingly though, that the possibility of reindeers in the game by next Christmas. Now, perhaps he was just joking and having a little go at us, but there you are, it's in there. There's actually quite a lot they could do to add to it to make the game more fun, etc. so forth, and I think they'll have to do this in time. So there you have it. Different ideas, things that are coming up for Minecraft in the coming year. Exciting things there, mobs perhaps coming, who knows what they'll bring out the bag. We know, of course, they're going to be doing snapshots, and I think the pressure will be on them to do this. Of course, don't forget as well that we're going to be seeing a different type of launcher implemented in the coming months, no doubt, as we've spoken on in a previous video. So yes, all these things are there. Now let us know in the comments what you think that you'd like to see, etc., and how you feel about 2015, what you think, if you think that Minecraft still as popular for you as it always has been, or whether it's it's sort of going out of interest or whatever, or whether you feel it's got a very, very long life or whatever it might be. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to see that. And also don't forget to go and have a look at our other channel, The Chaps Play, where we're doing some jolly good walkthroughs, or if you could call it that, of Feed the Beast, Clouds of Darkness and Crash Landing. Jolly hard but jolly fun. So have a look at those and let us know what you think. So there we are, a little roundup of what we might be seeing 2015 for Minecraft. Very exciting year, whichever way you look at it. Microsoft got hold of the whole thing. Loads of things going to be going on there. Minecon, movies, goodness knows what else happening perhaps. And so there we are. This has been Bertie here, just signing out, having given you the old rundown, and we'll see you soon, no doubt. And a very good evening, morning, night, or bye to you.